The thinking and context setting has already been set by Pedro and Melissa, so I don't have to walk you through a third time of the priority sectors that the World Bank is going to be working in and the skills value chain. You'll already be familiar with that from the previous days, from Xiaoyan, from Pedro and Melissa. So what I'm going to be talking to you today about is an initiative in Western Central Africa, which is titled ACE Innovate. For those who are familiar, this is a project, a program that builds on 10 years of the Africa Centers of Excellence program that has been implemented both in Western Central Africa as well as in Eastern and Southern Africa. I'm here representing a large team, a multi-sectoral team, some of whom are in the room. Because the ACES, or the Africa Centers of Excellence program, is not familiar to everybody in the room, and ACE Innovate builds on this ACE program that has been implemented in the African continent, I will begin with a very, very brief overview of the ACE program. So this is the World Bank's first regional engagement in higher education in Africa. And it essentially focused on improving postgraduate education in terms of the quality of education, training, and research that was provided in African countries through establishing centers of excellence. So there was a very clear focus on producing master's level students, PhD students, jump-starting the research ecosystem, and really strengthening innovation and entrepreneurship in these countries. What you see on the left-hand side is some of the features of the ACE program. It's on the screen, you can refer to it. A couple that I would just like to flag for you is that the ACE program, the ACEs that were selected across the countries that participated in the last 10 years, these focused also on a set of priority sectors that were selected by African governments because these were identified to be the strategic areas where African governments felt like they needed the impetus for postgraduate education and research, for this advanced level skills training. And why was a regional approach adopted at the time? So there was a recognition, first of all, that there are a common set of challenges that countries are facing, and there is going to be in economies of scale, a leveraging of impact by working together and collaborating together. There needed to be a critical mass of faculty and students that were developed and deployed in the region to be able to continue expansion of this postgraduate and research agenda. And then of course this entire approach, the regional approach, aligned with the regional integration agenda that many African countries had, and a recognition also that it would trigger these spillover effects that were relevant for the countries themselves, but the sub-regions that they belonged in. So the ACE program has been implemented in Western Central Africa since 2014-15. It recently closed in June 2025. On the Eastern and Southern African side, we still have the ACE program continuing. And I will now take you to some results that we've seen over the last 10 years. Again, really quickly breezing through this, because it is really important to highlight what countries have been able to achieve in a relatively short span of time, a decade, in terms of advanced level skills training. So, we have over 80 Africa Centers of Excellence across 50 universities in over 20 countries. These cover sectors that include health, energy, agriculture, mining, water, coastal resilience, engineering, material sciences, social risk, on and on, right? This is an impressive achievement. What have these ACEs done? Trained over 90,000 students at the postgraduate level. So these are masters and PhD students we're talking about. What do we see once these students get trained? We do tracer studies that track these students into the labor market of a 70% employment rate for graduates from the ACES. In terms of research, there are over 10,000 research publications in peer-reviewed journals. A huge important that Melissa talked about in the context of CIRA is strengthening and promoting women's participation, not just in education and training, but in STEM disciplines. And we have increased the presence, or the ACES have increased the presence of female students in STEM disciplines, going from almost doubling, in fact, over the project period to now 32%. In terms of skills training, so outside of the classroom, getting those practical job-relevant skills, the ACES partner closely with industries to provide students an apprenticeship-like internship experience before graduating. And they've been able to provide across all of the ACES over 18,000 internships that have connected students to industry. The ACES, given their regional approach and collaboration agenda, have worked with key regional bodies in the region. IUCEA, who is in the room and who has organized this wonderful academy for us, coordinates the program on the East and Southern Africa side. On the West and Central African side, we have the Association of African Universities. And then lastly, but importantly, the ACES have been able to generate external revenue that sustains some of this education, training, and research work that they do. Upwards of 600 million across all of the ACES. So, when we think about 10 years of this program and what we want to see going forward, we've had a chance to sort of reflect on what has worked well, where have we been able to achieve results, where have the results really not been as per design. We wanted more innovation and entrepreneurship. Do we see the ACES being able to reach there? What has the evaluation and an independent, nimble evaluation of the program shown us in terms of results? And given this imperative on skills and jobs that we've been talking about for the past 3 days, are the ACES really geared to address that? Or does the model need to be shifted or expanded in some way in order to ramp up the impact that it can have and also address the skills and jobs needs in Africa? So what we've come up with is 5 ways in which the ACE model going forward is going to be expanded in order to improve its previous avatar, if you will. So the first thing that ACE Innovate is going to do is continue to prioritize sectors that have a regional growth potential and investment options. I don't have to go through the list on the left-hand side that shows the sectors that are prioritized by the World Bank. You've heard of these. But I do want to just take your attention for a minute to the right-hand side, which shows the box that shows the skills value chain, right? From low-level skills to advanced skills. The World Bankers love the agribusiness example, so we'll take the agribusiness example as well. You see, from low to high, we go from a farmer to irrigation specialist, extension worker to crop scientist. The ACES have traditionally focused on the right-hand side, the advanced skills training, the research, the scientists, the professionals, the engineers. What we are looking to do under ACE Innovate is to continue to do this important advanced level skills training, because research and innovation are critical for economic growth in Africa, but also selectively have the centers of excellence expand to undergraduate education, translating that good practice that they've adopted in their postgraduate education to undergraduate education in those priority sectors. So that's the first innovation. The second innovation is shifting from a model where we're focused on an island of excellence to an institutional transformational model that we believe will help better sustain and scale the impact of the centers of excellence. So how will this be done? On the left-hand side, you have a typical university university model. The ACEs sit somewhere between departments and standalone centers of excellence. The universities are the governing bodies in these institutions. They set the mandate for how departments operate. What ACE Innovate proposes to do is to support universities that will be competitively selected again into the program and strengthen their operating model. This means strengthening governance practices, financial planning, quality assurance system, career services for students, employability services for students, technology transfer between institutions and with industry. And this shift from an institutional transformational model will help grow more ACEs should the university want to do that and continue to strengthen the ecosystem in which the ACEs exist. The third shift that we see in, or that we propose in ACE Innovate is again thinking about the ecosystem and the skills value chain for skills building. So I show you again the skills ladder, which you are familiar with. This is across the sectors. And I'm reminding you that the ACEs have typically focused on the right-hand side, right? The scientist and the research level jobs. In order to now focus on the middle-level skills, what we are proposing is for the ACE University to partner with the TVET system. What does this partnership entail? It entails that there is the ACE University leading a technical knowledge sharing with TVET institutions, with the TVET system, training of trainers, curriculum alignment, curricular standards, resource sharing, and the like. Okay, stay with me, 2 more to go. This is the 4th innovation under ACE Innovate. I know this looks like a dense slide, but I'll break it down for you. So the 4th innovation is, how do you get a coherent ecosystem when one university is selected into the program? And the way we are proposing to do that is to have the ACE University partner with other institutions in the country. Why is this partnership important? It's important because the ACE University brings certain specializations, but other institutions bring other specializations that are important for addressing the multidisciplinary nature of challenges that we're facing today. It's important because this allows a scalability and knowledge transfer that a single institution cannot do. And ultimately, it leads to strengthening the system. So what we see here, basically, the role of the ACE University would be to lead in developing cutting-edge content, hosting research, leading research, and for the partner institutions to be embedding this knowledge in their own programming. Finally, and most importantly in some ways, is what we propose to do with our initiatives on the East side and with ACE Innovate. As Pedro mentioned, there is going to be a focus on advanced level skills training through Set for Jobs. So the ACE model that I just talked about, ACE Innovate, is going to have a similar initiative for Eastern and Southern Africa. And what we propose is that these initiatives together present a pan-African platform for institutions to collaborate. And what does this collaboration look like? It's joint research, it's student mobility, it's faculty mobility, and this collaboration needs to extend, while it's already happening in West, Central, East, South, it needs to extend to South Africa, North Africa as well. So that is the final innovation under the ACE Innovate model that we're proposing. In closing, I promise this is half a minute. My colleague Melissa talked about the approach for CIRA. And you might think that West and Central Africa are both talking about sort of these 2 initiatives focusing on skills building in the West and Central Africa region. There is a difference and there is a complementarity. CERA is going to focus very much on the lower to middle level tier of skills training. This is secondary and starting to be post-secondary. Like I've been saying about the Africa Centers of Excellence and ACE Innovate, this is going to be advanced skill training with selective partnerships with the TVET system in order to strengthen the TVET system. So there is a nice continuity that you will see that we are offering for West and Central Africa in terms of covering the skills.